I never thought I'd be the guy who brought down the legendary Deborah Jenkins. Yeah, the same one folks here just call Karen like that's her real name, you know what I mean? But if you'd told me 6 months ago when I first moved into Sunnyside Estates that I'd become her public enemy #1, I'd have laughed right in your face. I'm just Mike Wilson, regular guy, child protective services worker, moved here for a little peace, a patch of grass, maybe a chance to breathe after all those years in the city. Sunnyside looked perfect from the outside. Lawns so tidy they looked like someone vacuumed the grass. Neighbors who'd nod from across the street wave as they walked their golden retrievers' kids pedaling by on bikes. The whole picture. At least that's what I thought, right up until the day Karen decided I needed to be welcomed in her own special way. Let me back up a sec. First week I'm here, I'm still unpacking boxes, still figuring out which remote works, the garage, and she's already measuring my lawn with a tape measure. I'm not even kidding. Next thing I know, there's a note taped to my door. My mailbox apparently is half a shade off the official chestnut brown listed in Section 4, Paragraph 12 of the HOA rulebook. Then there's my trash can sitting out 1 hour too long after pick up another letter. I swear, if I so much as blinked wrong, Karen had a citation ready and waiting. Most folks would have just called her dedicated, but if you ever met her, you'd get why we all said she ran this neighborhood like a boot camp. Clipboard glued to her arm, sunglasses perched on her nose, stalking up and down the sidewalks like she owned the joint. But all that nonsense, that was just the warm-up, like the previews before the real horror show. The actual chaos started on a Saturday, so hot you could fry an egg on the mailbox. It's July '98 and the shade humidity thick enough you could chew it. I come rolling in from the grocery store, sweating through my shirt, juggling bags, milk, eggs, the essentials, and I spot Karen power walking across the street, headed straight for Mrs. Rodriguez's yard. She's got her clipboard hugged to her chest like it's body armor, her son Tommy dragging behind, looking like he'd rather be anywhere else. "Tommy, stay in the car," she barks, double-tapping her key fob like she's arming a bank vault. I just need to talk to Mrs. Rodriguez about her unauthorized garden gnomes. Now maybe I'm paranoid, my job will do that to you, but something in the pit of my stomach just drops. I stand there, bag of groceries cutting into my hand, and I realize Karen's just locked her kid in the car. Windows rolled up, tight engine off, sun beating down. I don't hear any AC humming, don't see the faintest bit of fog on those windows. I know what this looks like. I've seen it way too many times in my line of work, and it never ends well. I set my groceries down, wipe my palms on my shorts, and stroll over, trying not to look like the neighborhood busybody. Tommy's inside sweat pouring down his forehead, face cherry red. I tap on the glass and try to smile. "Hey, buddy, you doing okay in there?" He tugs at the handle, shakes his head and mouths, "It's really hot." "Hang tight," I say. "I'm going to talk to your mom." "Okay." I glance over and there's Karen mid-lecture about garden gnomes, going on about aesthetics and bylaws and who knows what. She sees me coming and her whole body tenses up. "Mr. Wilson," she says, ice in her voice, "if this is about your bird feeder, I've already documented it. You'll get a notice by Monday. Actually, Mrs. Jenkins, it's about your son," I say, as steady as I can manage. "You locked him in your car. It's nearly 100 degrees out here. He's sweating up a storm, no AC, no nothing." She barely blinks. "I am taking care of HOA business, Mike." "Tommy's fine. I left him with his tablet. It'll only be a minute." She waves me off, goes right back to her gnome tirade. That's the thing about people like Karen. They get so used to being in charge, they don't even see the line between leader and dictator anymore. I'm watching her thinking this woman honestly believes she's untouchable. But I can see Tommy's face turning beet red, sweat dripping down. I step in, keep my voice low but firm. "Ma'am, your car could be 120 degrees in 20 minutes. Your kid's already in distress." She wheels around, bristling. "Are you really trying to tell me how to parent? Who do you think you are?" And that's when I lay it out. I'm a child protective services worker, and if you don't unlock your car, I'm calling 911. That for a split second actually rattles her. She's caught, doesn't know whether to double down or cave in. "This is ridiculous. I know what's best for my child," she snaps. crossing her arms, digging in her heels. "This'll only take a few minutes. Mind your business. Stop trying to undermine my authority." Authority. There it was, her real obsession. This wasn't about Tommy or the heat or even the gnomes. It was about control hers. I meet her eyes, steady as I can, and say, "If you don't open that car right now, I'll call the cops. This isn't about HOA rules. This is your son's life." Now she's in a panic, but pride's fighting every instinct. "You wouldn't dare. Do you have any idea how many violations you've got? That garden is over the height restriction. Those wind chimes are non-regulation." I've had enough. I pull out my phone, start dialing. I don't care about wind chimes. I care about Tommy. I call 911, keep my eyes on her the whole time. Yes, I'm reporting a child locked in a hot car. The mother is refusing to unlock it. Address is 42 Sunnyside Lane. And just like that, you could see the power shift in her eyes, fear edging out fury. She fumbles for her keys, stabs at the unlock button, and finally, those locks click open. I thank the dispatcher, tell her officers are on their way. Karen's muttering about overreacting, but I'm already at the car opening the door, and Tommy all but tumbles out soaked in sweat, gulping in the humid air like it's the best thing he's ever tasted. "Here, bud, have some water. Come sit in the shade." I grab a bottle for my groceries, lead him to my porch. Karen's following, still yelling about how unnecessary this all is, about how I'm making a scene, how everyone will regret crossing her at the next board meeting, but nobody's listening. Mrs. Rodriguez is on her porch, mouth hanging open, her gnomes totally forgotten. Mr. Peterson's hustling over from across the street, worry on his face. And soon enough, we hear sirens, police loud and clear coming straight for us. The officers get out calm, but all business. One checks the car, digital thermometer reads 132 degrees, even after the doors have been open for a bit. The other kneels by Tommy, gentle as can be, asking if this has happened before. And that's when the twist drops. Tommy admits, quiet as a mouse, that this isn't the first time he's been left in the car while his mom does HOA stuff. Suddenly the whole vibe changes. The officers radio their sergeant, check the facts, then walk over to Karen, who's still ranting about bylaws like she can talk her way out of handcuffs. "Mrs. Jenkins," one officer says, "serious as a heart attack. We're placing you under arrest for child endangerment." For a second, she's speechless. Arrest. "Do you know who I am? I'm the president of the Homeowners Association." The officer doesn't even blink, just tells her to turn around. The cuffs go on, and that's the moment the mighty clipboard queen finally loses her grip. She looks around, hoping someone will defend her, but nobody says a word. In fact, I see a couple neighbors nodding to themselves like justice finally found its way to Sunnyside. Her precious clipboard, the one she ruled with for years, slips out of her hand, hits the pavement with a dull smack. Tommy's placed into temporary custody. My friend Sarah, another CPS worker, shows up and gently leads him to her car. Gives me a look that says, "You did the right thing before driving off." By then, the whole neighborhood's buzzing. News travels fast here, especially with Mrs. Rodriguez's teenage son recording the whole thing on his phone. 3 days later, the HOA board calls an emergency meeting. Karen's face is all over the local news, replaying the moment she refused to open that car door. The board doesn't waste time. They vote unanimous to boot her from the presidency. The real finale comes a week later at her arraignment. Karen, stone-faced, sitting in the courtroom while the judge reads out the charges. Class A misdemeanor child endangerment. Could mean up to a year in jail, $4,000 in fines. She just sits there blank, mumbling to herself. "But I was just following the rules." Doesn't even look up as they lead her away. The clipboard, her little crown, gone for good. Sunnyside Estates is quieter now. No more angry letters taped to my door. No more measuring tape ambushes. No one spying on my trash can schedule. Some folks say Karen just went too far. Others think she got what was coming. Me, I just hope Tommy's got a shot at a real childhood now, one where he's not sweating it out in the back of a locked car while his mom polices lawn ornaments. So let me ask you, where's the line between leadership and control? When does following the rules turn into hurting the people you're supposed to protect? Drop your thoughts down below, share your stories, your take on what real justice looks like. And hey, if you've ever dealt with a Karen of your own, let's hear it. Because out here, sometimes the only way the neighborhood gets better is when folks finally speak up.